Hello everyone, my name is Pris from Prisperuses and welcome to another video. Today I'm bringing you some recommendations for Whateverathon. So Whateverathon is an epic readathon created by Maddie over a book browsing blog. I will leave all the information and the announcement video linked down below. This is the second year that Maddie is doing Whateverathon and it was so much fun last year. This year I am a host. And I am so excited for it, and I'm so honored that Maddie asked me. I am hosting Team TBR Travellars alongside with Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin and with Sandra from Got a Thing for Things. I can already see the chaoticness between the three of us. It's gonna be epic, it's gonna be fantastic, and I am here for it. We are also gonna win, so you better just join the winning team because there's no way. Between the three of us, we are gonna win. So this year around, Maddie has created a wonderful bingo board. And on the bingo board, there are some prompts that are specific to the team of your choosing. I will scooch over a little bit so you can see the bingo board here. But as you can see, the pink prompts are specific to TBR Travellars. We came up with the prompts ourselves, and I am going to give you some recommendations for each of these prompts. So starting off with TBR Veteran is something that I can give you a prompt for because everyone's TBR Veteran is different. A TBR Veteran is considered a book that has been on your TBR for a very long time. But this is open for interpretation. What do you consider a long time? A year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Just go to your bookshelf and pick a book that you have been meaning to read for a long time and you still have not read it. Pick that book up and read it for this prompt. Over to the prompts that I can actually give you recommendations for. Starting off with Portal Fantasy. So the first Portal Fantasy that I want to recommend to you is Keeper of the Lost Cities. This book works perfect for this readathon because it is a Portal Fantasy. It has GPS on the cover. It is a host favorite, mine. You can continue a series with this. It just works for so many prompts. It is a middle grade, which I'm coming back to later. It just works for so many prompts. I absolutely love this series. You all know this. It's about Sophie who discovers that she's an elf, gets whisked away to this elfish world. Things happen from there. This book is very much about friendship and I absolutely love it. So yeah, I do highly recommend that you pick it up. If you are doing Keeper Along with me, the June book for Keeper Along is Nightfall, so you can always pick up that and just kill two birds with one stone. Next Portal Fantasy is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. This also works for a middle grade and it also works for GPS. So again, you can have multiple options here, but I am recommending it as a Portal Fantasy. Do I even need to explain to you what this is about? Percy Jackson discovers that he is a demigod, a half-god, and he goes to Camp Half-Blood. He makes new friends there, and shit hits the fan basically. I know a lot of you got really excited about Percy Jackson again because we finally saw the casting of Percy, Grover and Annabeth, and oh my gosh, I absolutely love the three of them. They're gonna do so amazing and I am just so excited. Shout out to my girl Leah. She's gonna be one hell of an amazing Annabeth and I am here for it. Next up we have Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is all about Morrigan, who is destined to die on her 11th birthday, but instead of dying she gets whisked away to the world of Nevermore by this very eccentric guy called Jupiter North. This is so amazing. The series is well beloved. If you have not picked it up, please do so. And it can also work as a middle grade. Next up we have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. When I think of Portal Fantasy, this is one that really comes to mind for me. Zachary discovers a book from the library that describes his past. And in such detail that he is certain that this book is about him. And then he goes on a sort of quest to find out what is happening. Things happen and he finds himself in this starless sea world. I absolutely love this book. This is so whimsical, so lyrical. It is not for everyone, I know that, but I absolutely love this book. It is amazing. The last portal fantasy that I want to recommend is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. Alex E. Harrow has become a favorite author of mine in a very short amount of time. This book was incredible. It is all about doors that lead to another world. It has stories within stories because January discovers a diary. So she reads entries from this diary. It is whimsical, it is lyrical, it is magical, and it made me sob towards the end like no tomorrow. It was beautiful. I love January as a character and I highly recommend. Next prompts I have recommendations for is quest/adventure. First we have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I think this series is incredible. This is all about a girl called Stevie Bell. She goes to this very eccentric boarding school and she has a passion for true crime. There is a mystery surrounding this boarder school because back in the day the wife and daughter of the founder got kidnapped and the daughter has actually never been found. Stevie goes to the school and she makes it her business to solve this ancient mystery, and she gets herself in a whole lot of trouble for it. This series is incredible. I highly recommend that you pick this up. In the very same genre as Truly Devious, we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is so fast-paced and I was hooked from the very first page. The series is incredible. The second and third book are also amazing. This is about a girl called Pippa. For her final year project, she wants to open up an investigation that has been closed for years in her town. It's about a girl called Andy that disappeared many years ago. Her boyfriend Sal at the time was convicted towards this crime and he ended up killing himself. Pippa, however, does not think that Sal did it and she thinks there is more to the story, so she's gonna find out what happened. And again, she gets herself in a whole lot of trouble. Super fast paced. I can read these books in one setting. You just want to know what the hell is going on, and it's really good. It's also mixed media, so you have like log entries, police reports, all that kind of stuff, and it's just really good. Next up we have Fable. This is one of my favorite YAs ever because I absolutely love this. This is about a girl called Fable and she is the daughter of the most powerful sea trader. However, when his wife and Fable mother dies, he leaves Fable on this island full of thieves and plunderers. Her mission is to get herself off of this island and prove her worth to her father. This is incredible. Fable was an amazing character. I am a sucker for like piratey sea stories. I just absolutely love a sea setting, and this was absolutely fantastic. Next up we have Iron Widow. Are we surprised? I don't think so, because I've been shouting from the rooftops about this book. I read this year and it was incredible. It was so good. I was so hooked. The emotions in this were so very raw and I absolutely loved it. This is about a girl called Zetjen. She wants to avenge the killer of her little sister. So she goes on this quest to avenge her sister, and this is very much in an Asian inspired world that does not treat girls and women the way they should. There are like revelations being discovered throughout the stories, and it was so good. I highly recommend that you pick this up. The last book I want to recommend for quest/adventure is the Ember in the Ashes series. This is incredible and I love this series with the whole of my being. This is about Leia and Elias. Elias is the Academy's finest soldier, but he wants nothing more than to escape. Then we have Laia, whose brother is being captured, and she goes on a quest undercover within this military school to prove her worth and to make sure that this rebellion group can free her brother. This is incredible. There is a character in this book called Helene, and she is amazing. She's incredible. She's one of my all-time favorite characters from books all over. A fantastic series, and you need to pick it up. Next prompt we have GPS. Gavin, Pris, Sandra. We are GPS and we are the TBR Travellars, so we'll lead you to your final destination, which is victory. This could not work out better. It's just incredible. It all fits. This is just a sign that we are the winning team. So one of the prompts is that it must have the letters G, P and S on the cover. So either in the title, the series names is on the cover, or maybe the authors. I did have a little bit of a butchers. It was a hard one, but it is very manageable. So I came up with the following books. First up we have Saga. We have SG, and the illustrator is called Fiona Staples, which has a P in it. This is the first volume of an epic science fiction graphic novel series. I have started this. I think I am at volume 4 right now, but this is just incredible. You need to pick it up. The artwork is absolutely stunning and it's just so good. It's very much a Romeo and Juliet vibes. These two people are together and they're not supposed to be together, and war is brewing within the space world, and all things happen from there. It is incredible. It is tiny, so perfect for a readathon. Next up we have Silhouette by Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita is one of my absolute favorite actresses in Hollywood. She was incredible in 12 Years a Slave and also in Black Panther. She's just an amazing person, and she made this picture book about a black girl coming to terms with her skin color. So it has an S in the title, and in Lupita Nyong'o's name it has a P and a G, so it counts for GPS. This book is stunning, guys. I know picture books are not for everyone, but I highly recommend that you pick this up. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. The story is just so heartbreaking. It's just such an important story, and I absolutely love this. So I highly recommend that you pick this up. Again, it's a short one, so it could be a good palette cleanser for you from all the big books, but I highly recommend it. Next up we have Pumpkin and Stubbs, P.S. and it is by Sophie Green, which has a G. So it counts for GPS. This is the second one I'm holding, I think. You can pick whichever you want in the series. This is very much a true crime series because Lil wants to be the best detective from her little town. And some creepy things are happening in her town. With her best friend Natalie alongside her, they go on a whole bunch of adventures. And it's absolutely fantastic. The dark atmosphere is incredible, and I love this middle grade series. It doesn't not get enough hype, and I think you should pick it up. Next up we have A Pinch of Magic, a P, a G, and it is by Michelle Harrison. So GPS is there on the cover. This is about 3 sisters called Patti, Fliss and Charlie, and they go on all sorts of adventures. They have some magical objects. It's just an incredible series, guys. The sisterly friendship between the 3 of them is amazing. The atmosphere is very magical, and Charlie is a unicorn and she needs to be protected at all costs. So the last book for GPS, it is a big one, guys. It is a big one, but it's an epic one as well, and it is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. We have a P, we have a G, 2 S's, Samantha Shannon. So GPS is there on the cover, and this is an incredible epic high fantasy. The audiobook is fantastic. I highly suggest, if you pick this up, listen to the audiobook and read along, because then it is way more manageable to grasp it all. It has dragons, everything you want in a fantasy. It has rebellion, it has great character, it is queer, it is just absolutely fantastic. You need to pick this up. It is just so good, and me even holding this right now, I kind of want to reread it. Then the very last prompt is middle grades. Now I know that I have already recommended you some middle grade. I'm not gonna recommend those again. We had Nevermore and we had Potkin and Stubbs, Keeper of the Lost Cities. They can also fit for middle grade. I have 5 middle grades apart from those that I also want to recommend for you. First up, we have Starfell. Is anyone surprised? No, of course not, because this is now my all-time favorite middle grade series. This is incredible. The series is so good. This is about a girl called Willow, and she has the ability to find lost things. However, in her magical world, that's not very flashy. So she's often looked upon by her own family and the people around her. That is, however, until last Tuesday goes missing, and Willow needs to go and find it. This is incredible. This series is so good. It is heartbreaking. It deals with grief, so trigger warning for that, but it is sensationally good. And I absolutely love these bands of characters. We have a kobold cat in this as a sassy, very sassy sidekick, and it is just everything that I want in a middle grade. It had some nonsense in it, but not too much, just the right amount of it, and it's just, it blows my mind, and it is so good, and it's so underrated as well, so you need to pick this up. Next up, we have A Place Called Perfect. This is about a girl called Violet. She moves to a little town that's called Perfect, and everything seems perfect, but not everything is. She discovers some really weird things. Her mom is acting very strange, and then her dad disappeared. Then she meets a boy called Boy, and together they go on an investigation to find out what is happening in this perfect town. It is incredible. It is so good. I absolutely loved it. It has some really like dark, twisted vibe to it, and I was obsessed with the series. Next up, we have the Polar Bear Explorers Club. This is about a girl called Stella who wants to be an explorer, but girls cannot be explorers. She thinks that there is some epic bullshit, which I agree with that, and she goes on this epic quest together with her father and some friends to the Iceland. All things happen from there, of course. It is incredible. Stella discovers so much about herself. This band is coming together like they never thought they would. And it's just an incredible adventurous story. Perfect for a readathon because it's also very fast paced. Next up, we have The Girl Who Speaks Bear by Sophie Anderson. This could also count for GPS. Do with that information what you want. But this is about a girl called Yanka. She one day wakes up with bear legs, and she goes on a quest into this forest that has been calling to her to find out why her legs have suddenly turned into bear legs. This book is so wholesome. It has stories within stories, which is one of my favorite tropes. You need to pick this up. This is so good. It is my favorite Sophie Anderson book. It is so magical. It has found family. It has animal sidekicks, and it's just all around amazing. Then the very last book that I want to recommend to you for the middle grade prompts is The Highland Falcon Thief, or as I would say, the entire Train on Adventure series. I've been shouting about this series for a very long time. This is incredible. It is all about a boy called Hal. He goes on trains with his uncle Nat, and every time they go on board on a train, something happens, and they need to investigate what happened. There is a thief, somebody gets kidnapped, there is even a murder further on up on the series. It is so fantastic. Hal also makes friends along the way, and it's just so incredible because throughout his investigations, he also likes to draw. He always draws up situations that he thinks are like suspicious, or he draws up certain person that he wants to investigate, and it's just so much fun. This series is so fast paced, so I highly recommend that you pick this up. That was it. Those are all my recommendations I had for the TBR Travellars prompt within the bingo board for Whateverathon. Are you gonna participate in Whateverathon? Which team are you gonna choose? it better be TBR Travellars, because we are gonna win. I am so excited to be starting June. It's gonna be epic. I want to go all out for it, and I cannot wait, honestly, for this readathon to happen. Do let me know down below if you're gonna be participating in Whateverathon and which team are you gonna choose. Do you have your TBR ready? Which book are you most excited to read for Whateverathon? Please let me know down below in the comments. That is it for now. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am gonna leave you for now. Thank you all so much for your continued support, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!